What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. It's been a while since we've done an overlanding / truck build themed piece, but my friends over at Oxbeam reached out to me. They said, go ahead, pick whatever lights you want. And I'm gonna use this video to go over the installation, walk through how that process is, kind of talk about the quality, my thoughts on them. These thoughts are my own. Oxbeam didn't give me any talking points, nor do they get to see the video before it's released. I'm not here to give them a glowing review. I value and respect your guys' trust, and I want to honor that by being transparent, open about my experience with these lights, my experience with other lights, and really, honestly, where I think these stack up. Oxbeam also did give me the shirt, and I think it's great, so thank you. In front of me, I've got 4 sets of the 3-inch light pods to go on the front bumper. I've got 2 of these 4-inch light pods that will serve as kind of ditch lights going up on the roof rack towards the rear of the vehicle. That'll be nice for camping, can kind of light up the camp space. We're gonna try and wire these so that they can be plugged into a battery pack, a battery, like the solar generator kind of battery types, instead of being wired directly to the vehicle's battery. That way I can run them at night with the car turned off, the engine not running, and not worry about my in-house battery getting sucked dry. Well, that didn't sound right. Basically, I'll still be able to start my truck at the end of a camp trip. And then last, but certainly not least, we got this 42-inch light bar that I'm really stoked about. This thing is beefy, and I can't wait to see the output on it, especially compared to what I have right now. These ones are perfect for my truck. They match the mounting options and the availability for mounting lights that I have specifically. However, Oxbeam's catalog is really extensive, so go ahead, check them out at the link in the description below after the video is done. That way you can watch the whole video, leave a comment if you want, and then you'll be helping me with the algorithm. Oxbeam lights are fantastic for lighting the trail ahead. And while you're getting your camping on, the last thing you're probably thinking about is whether or not you've been a victim, a recent victim of identity theft. You know, you're trying to disconnect and unplug, but that's hard to do with peace of mind when you can just run a quick Google search of your name, and you'll find that your name, emails, home address, your relatives, your health records, those critical information pieces aren't as secure as you might have thought, not as private as you thought. It turns out that data brokers are selling your info to spammers, scammers, and really anyone out there on the dark web or in the world who could have every intention of targeting you. That's why I've chosen Aura, the sponsor of today's video. They do an excellent job of finding the data brokers that have my personal information and automatically submitting opt-out requests on my behalf. Aura not only helps reduce the amount of annoying spam that I get, but they also protect me from the very real risks of hackers being able to hijack my social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive personal information. A recent story that you might have seen is that AT&T had over 73 million customer profiles, both current and previous customers. Their data got leaked onto the dark web, and that is not a good look. Never before have I been more grateful to be getting ripped off by Verizon. AT&T recommended for those impacted that they use strong passwords, monitor account activity, look at credit freezes or fraud alerts from the credit bureaus. But Aura does this all for me. And best of all, I don't have to reallocate and waste my valuable time just because a company decided not to keep my data very secure. If my data was compromised in the AT&T breach, I wouldn't really have to worry all that much because I know that Aura is always on and always keeping me safe. I'm not usually an advocate of outsourcing you and your family's security, but the digital world is a completely different animal, one of which that I know very little about. I trust the experts over at Aura, and I value my privacy. If you value yours, go ahead and go to aura.com/Korean Marksman to start your 2-week free trial today. Link is in the description below as well. So we're gonna go ahead and install these lights on the truck. I also am gonna be replacing some of the current lights there with these lights. I'm saying lights a lot. What we have right now are some 3-inch pods on the front, 2 of them, by 4WD King, 4-wheel drive King. Both of those have lasted 3 months, and then they got the water seals in them, broke obviously, and moisture was able to get inside of the housing, and they've been nasty ever since. The lights still work, but it's really poor QC, obviously, poor sealing, weather sealing, and that is pretty disappointing. Up top, we have the Nibright light bar, and I think it's a 45-incher. It was cheap. The output's not really that great for how big it is, so I'm really excited. I've been wanting to for a while upgrade and get a beefier unit up top. These are what I would call cheap lights. I think there's a category of cheap, of quality and then premium. On this channel, when it comes to guns, when it comes to rooftop tents and car upgrades, lighting now too, I don't really get that excited when I find like a really premium product that is great, because it freaking better be for like $6,000. What I get more excited about is a more budget-oriented, budget-friendly product that is fantastic, because it really feels like you're getting more for your dollar and you're really stretching the value proposition that you're getting. Feels like the company actually respects you. Cheap stuff breaks, it falls apart, just like four-wheel drive king, and Nye-Bright doesn't really work that great. I feel like Oxbeam is a brand in the category, in the quality category, where their profit margins aren't absolutely insane, where most of that price is just getting pocketed by the company. They're giving you features and products that people actually want at a price that they can actually afford. That's one thing that really excites me about having some of the Oxbeam products here today. I'm gonna stop babbling and let's get installing. All right guys, so here we're gonna work on taking out the current lighting setup. I'll show you the fog and the moisture that's gotten trapped inside. We are gonna have to drop the bumper, unfortunately. This thing's heavy, especially with that 12,000 pound winch and the steel. It's just full steel, because I want to put the pod lights on the inside of the bumper, not make them stick out. I think that'll just look better, be a little bit more functional aesthetically, and if I do bump into anything with the bumper, the lights aren't going to make first contact necessarily, depending on where I hit things. Not that I plan on hitting anything. I was wrong about the light bar up top. There is some moisture in there. I'll show you guys. We got some nice moisture in there, some nice moisture in there. It might not show, but I've also got some moisture up top there as well. We're also going to take a nice moment in this video to get the wiring correct. I'm not a wiring expert. I barely know anything about wiring, electrician stuff, and apparently that's an area you don't want to mess up. My father-in-law is a contractor. He does this kind of stuff. He was able to take a look, speak into my situation, deemed that it was dangerous, and so we're going to be taking a very different approach to how we're going to redo the wiring here. So we're going to be changing up things, everything from new terminals to a bus bar setup with an inline fuse, running wires more cleanly, and just keeping things contained, covered for fire hazard's sake. And just going to put some extra time and care into doing it right. With the Land Cruiser, it's funky. The battery's on the passenger side. If everything was on the driver's side, going up to the driver's side grommet, it would probably be enough length, but we might have to extend things out a little bit. For now, I'm just going to start unplugging things, getting them out of the way, because I'm a little bit scared about how it's currently set up. Yeah, let's get cracking. Before we get cracking, I'm going to take off all the metal that I have, my ring and my watch, just in case. So first I'm going to install the pod lights here, and then we'll monkey around and figure out what we need to do in terms of wiring harness length and where we're going to route wires and all that. I would be shocked if this provided me with enough length just as is. I feel like I'm gonna have to extend some things out, but we will see. And then I have to extend out the power cables. The switch might be okay actually. So this is just reused wire from the previous wiring harness that I'm gonna use to extend out the length of the power cable here to run down into the vehicle, so I can therefore attach a 12-volt cigarette plug lighter for the rock lights, and then I can plug that into any accessory, any power accessory I need. Here. So I ran the switch here, stuck it on with the adhesive, ran this wire down this fuse panel, and it pops out here. The grommet's underneath there. I'll show you on the other side. Where'd the rubber go? There was rubber there, dude. What the hell? So here's the, I'm sorry, I'm totally blocking the camera. I think I might put some loom on all of the cables that are running through here, just so they don't get sliced up. Boom, that's connected. Sweet. I guess next we'll work on the light bar. Stop blaming me. Oh, that ain't the truth. Get this out of here. Oh, water came pouring out, bro. It looks like this can have a DRL. I'm not gonna do that though. So you can bottom mount it or you can side mount it. Let's just start with side mount and see how it goes. Can you guys see this okay? Put some Loctite on. So So the plug will come up here. So I plugged it in here, keeping the plug up high. I'm gonna hide all this excess cable with zip ties along the roof rack. Looks like the light bar cabling for the switch is gonna be long enough to actually work, which is surprising but great. Can you guys see that? I'm gonna stick this, feed this down. All right, next we had to take off the bumper just to get access to remove the previous pod lights that were installed and obviously install the new ones. I'm scared. Oh, that's not as bad as I remember it being. Get these old pods out. All right, so we'll do the ambers close together, and then the whites will go on the farther ends. I'm out of Loctite, but otherwise I would totally use Loctite in this application. Probably tighten down this one because that will be tight once it's already installed. So I'm gonna grab the Allen wrench quick. Even though if I tighten down one side, it should still allow me to articulate it a little bit. Okay, so this is what we gotta do. Okay, now I'm not gonna film the rest of these because it's becoming redundant. I've already done 2, so I'll show you guys what it looks like when I'm done. So we have 4 of these harnesses meant to plug into the pod lights. This allows you to wire them to the daytime running lights and the blinkers and all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna cut this off and then make sure to waterproof it a good bit. And I'm gonna do that on all 4 just because for me, having the blinkers go with the pod lights, not really worth, the juice isn't worth a squeeze for me. So I'm just gonna cover that up quick. Sweet, dude. I'm thinking maybe like, could it go on the ledge there? Like drill down?
Here? Ooh, yeah.
Is this flattish? Or, like, no.
Dope. Nag back in here. You got a spot here?
Yeah.
Because nag doesn't matter.
Right.
Snug, not tight.
Snug, not tight, copy.
No.
Oh, funny.
That's it.
That's good? Yeah?
Leave it. Okay, back it out. Net. Nope. Right there, nothing.
All right, so as you guys can see, bus bar is in there. Got the negative there. And the positive there. After figuring out where to mount the bus bars and getting them drilled in, we added all the wires, negative and positive. Then we added the inline fuse to the positive wire that gets connected to the battery terminal, and we did a dry run test with all the lights.
Oh my God!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the home stretch now. This is day 3, 4 of this project. I'm gonna put a shim on the battery terminal, tighten that down, and then we're gonna figure out how to do the cable management. We're gonna also wire out the power for the kind of ditch lights up top over there. Gonna use the KC Highlights cable hider. We already have one installed, but I'm gonna show you guys process that you do for installing this one. Eliminates the need to drill into the car to hide wires. You just stick it on and it's good to go. Let's go ahead and start with the battery terminal. For some reason the negative terminal wouldn't fit, so we had to add a battery shim to make it clamp on. So we got the extra spare wire that we have, and then we'll be soldering this onto this guy to extend it down into the engine bay so I can plug it in inside of the car. Now this wire's fed through. I'll put the cigarette lighter on. After cutting back and exposing some of the wires, we twisted them together to solder extensions for the positive and negative. Then we soldered it on and applied some heat shrink tubing with a heat gun to seal it all off from water. Look at that. On, off, on, off. Let's freaking go. All right, now I gotta figure out this absolute rat's nest. Gotta get these to the engine bay. I got these adhesive nylon cable ties that I'm gonna plop on for cable management. I cleaned off this surface right here. First, I want to spray down a shop towel or even just directly on the metal with some brake and parts cleaner, and then you can apply the adhesive cable zip ties to route cables more effectively. It's a literal rat's nest up in here. All right, so now I'm going to use a zip tie to secure the fuse here. Perfect. All right, guys, I'm gonna take the camera off the sticks. And just because we filmed it at night yesterday, I'm gonna show you all that we did. So we put the bus box in here, ran everything to all the accessories that we need. We put the negative down low, ran all of the switches into the grommet that goes to the passenger, or the that goes to the driver's side for access. We left the blade fuses up top here accessible, so if they blow and need to be changed out, I can easily access them. I'm going to clean up a spot and put another adhesive sticky guy. Now we're gonna loom up as much of the cables as we can just to protect it from damage. After cinching down the switches with the adhesive cable zip ties, I color coded them so that I knew which one was amber, which one was white. Color coded. Lastly, for the KC Highlights cable hider, you're going to want to wipe down the work area where you want to apply the hider itself with the alcohol swab. Then you'll want to apply the cables inside of it. Attach the 3M adhesive backing. It required a knife and some time and patience to get the front backing off, but eventually I was able to get it secured. Then you want to apply it, push down, press down, and make sure that it's securely attached to the surface. All right, guys, that wraps up the install. Took a few days, a lot of work, but it was definitely well worth it. I'm so excited about these, and I'm really excited about how we got to clean up the kind of battery situation, the rat's nest up in there. Sure, we did replace it with a new rat's nest, but at least it's a little bit more organized, tidied up, more methodically systematized, if you will, and it probably is less likely to start my truck on fire. I can't wait to try these lights out on the trails. I think it's gonna be fantastic. The build quality seems to be pretty impressive, especially for the price point. Kind of like we touched on before, but yeah, I'm so stoked about this. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.